leaders, first of all, I want to say thank you for your willingness and your desire to tackle a small group. I think it's going to be an awesome experience. We know from the past that small groups is where we see a majority of the spiritual growth in our students. And so, for you being willing to take a couple hours out of your week every couple weeks is a huge thing, and I want to say thank you for that. We're just going to talk through just some things, some wins, some goals, just some things that you as the leader, how I want to empower you, maybe a little bit of the outline of the night, what it looks like, all that good stuff. And so let's talk about, first of all, the goals. Some of the goals that I would love is first and foremost, I want you to build a relationship with the students. I want you to see them grow spiritually, challenge them to grow spiritually. If we have a small group and all we do is just hang out with the kids and we become buddy-buddy with them, that's great and that's good, but that's not ultimately serving the purpose of small group, which is to have them to go deeper spiritually. We want to build a trust with them. You guys know this as well as I do, that these couple years in junior high are the hardest years that they're going to have to go through. They got a lot of changes, a lot of decisions that they're going to be making, just a lot of stuff going on. And so we want to be able to figure out and build into them, like I said before, so that they feel that they can trust us and they can come to us to get some godly advice and biblical advice. And so I think that's pretty cool. So the couple of the goals: build relationships, have them grow spiritually, and have them build or ask for our advice are the few of those things. A win, and what I mean by a win is, so often in junior high ministry we're like, all right, why in the world are we doing this? Like, how do I know that I'm doing a good job or an acceptable job? How do I know that they're getting anything out of this? And so we're just going to go through just a few different things that guys and ladies that are smarter and better at youth ministry than me have come up with, and so I'm just kind of stealing them. The first one, I love this: the student does a bolt as soon as as soon as the small group is over. They either come early just to hang out with you and they want to talk to you a little bit one-on-one, or they stay afterwards, instead of going straight upstairs or going straight to wherever they're supposed to meet their parents. They kind of stick around and hang out for a little bit. That shows that they enjoy being in your presence, they enjoy being around you, and that is definitely a win. Second one, a student remembers anything from the previous meeting. Again, that's a pretty major one because for a majority of us, we're going to be meeting every 2 weeks. And so if you said something or if something happened in the meeting where they're able to remember in 2 weeks what happened, it could be anything, even a game that you did, something funny that happened, maybe somebody totally fell out of their chair or anything like that, and they're just like, oh, that was so funny when that happened. That's okay. We're not looking for, them to have every verse that you talked about memorized or anything like that. So as long as they know a little bit about what's happening, what's going on, if they remember a prayer request, anything like that, that is huge. 3, realize that the Spirit is working through you and the Holy Spirit's doing some pretty cool stuff in their life. It's pretty fun. I just got a email from a girl who was in my first church. She was a 7th grade girl. She was pretty cool. She was a lot of fun, but just one of those kids. It's like, oh, am I making any type of impact on this girl? Is there anything good happening in this girl? And what has it been, 10 years later, I got this email out of the blue from her, and she was just saying, she was like, I was on my way home from church, and I was talking to my husband about how I accepted Christ, and it was at a youth group event that you did. And she goes, I just wanted to say thanks for investing in me and in my life, and I just wanted to let you know where I was at now and what's going on with me spiritually. And so I think that's cool that we are planting a lot of the seeds. We're doing a lot of the groundwork for the Spirit to be able to do amazing things in these students' lives. And so I want you guys to understand and know that this is a huge time. When we say things, we have no clue how the Holy Spirit is going to work on them over the 2 weeks as we meet. The next one, a win is a student who comes back. Any student who decides, hey, that was worth my time, and I want to go back and I want to be with them again. That is a huge, huge win. And I like this. Even if the student is forced to be at small group, I would still consider that a win because we have the trust of the parents or the guardians. The parents or guardians are saying, I value the leader enough, I value this small group enough that I'm making my kid go there because I know it's going to be a good thing, and this is what they need. And so even if they're forced, that's a huge win. Another win, anytime a student talks and you listen. In this day and age, as you know, it is hard for students to be heard by adults. A lot of times our parents are so busy doing everything else that they just don't have an adult that will just sit and listen to them. A lot of times it's stupid stuff. I'm thinking of some of the junior high guys, conversations that I've had, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, if I have to talk about one more android or whatever they're called in Star Trek, I'm just like, whatever. But that's a huge thing for them. They absolutely love that and they need that. So anytime that they talk and we just sit and listen and we're like, that is super cool, that's a huge win. Another one, bring a friend. If they bring a friend, that is a huge sign saying, I like this and I feel that it's so worthwhile that I want my friends to come and experience this. I want them to see how awesome and amazing not only the leader is, but the other people in the group and just everything about it. So if they're bringing a friend, that's okay. Even if the friend doesn't stick, like I know it seems like every year we're like, are we a closed small group? Are we going to allow students to come in? I would say allow the student to come in. I don't think it'll disrupt the dynamics a whole lot. But again, we're going to talk about empowering you as the small group leader in a little bit. If you would rather not have that, just make that a clear boundary at the beginning. Say, hey, you know, for this time, for this small group, we're just going to focus on the students that are here. So don't be afraid to do that if you would rather do that. And the last one, there's a lot more, but the last one that I want to talk about is if a student talks, that is a huge win in my book. If a student talks in front of the group, it gives the other students kind of a glimpse of confidence to say, wow, they did that. Even if the student completely fumbles through it and has a hard time, like they don't have all of their thoughts together and they're just kind of rambling through, let them struggle a little bit, let them kind of ramble a little bit, because that gives the other students the confidence to say, all right, even if I'm not eloquent or I don't have what I want to say down 100%, I can still have the opportunity and the freedom to express myself, and they're going to be okay with that. They're not going to laugh at me. They're not going to throw things at me. They're not going to make me leave and go to another small group or anything like that. So that's very cool. So that is some wins in my book. Again, you will have a ton of wins that you will come up with, and when you find, you know, if you're like, well, to me this would be a win, it would be awesome if you email that to the other, or email it to me or Stephanie. We'll email it because we need to be encouraged as much as we possibly can. The third thing I want you guys to understand is just that I value you guys so much. I trust you guys wholeheartedly with these students. I trust that you're going to look after them, that you're going to care for them, that you're going to respect them, and you're going to see them grow spiritually and physically. But I want to make sure that you feel empowered by me. It's a hard line to draw because I don't want you to ever think that I'm being irresponsible or just saying, oh, I just don't care. But in my mind, what I'm saying is I value you as a leader, and so I'm giving you full rights to do whatever you want with this small group. I will give you guys suggestions. I came up with a list of the schedule that I think would work really well. I have a cool resource that I like that you guys can do. You can go through that, but if you're like, that's not where my students are, this is we need to do something else, totally cool. That is your call. A couple of things that I would love for you guys to do as leaders of small groups. The first one this sounds really stupid, but get to know your students. Form a bond with them. I think one of the best ways to form a bond is, even in the first night of small groups, come up with an identity. Come up with a small group name. I'm already thinking of, Dave Herward, and when we get around the tables on Wednesday nights, his group was always called the Cheese Balls, and that was huge. They loved that. That was what they kind of associated Dave and his table. That was their name. And so when you guys do activities as a small group, when you need something announced or advertised, we can say, hey, the Chipmunk Eaters are going to be meeting here at this time, or whatever you want your name to be. But I think that's really important that you guys come up with an identity. We could even help you with a logo if you wanted, and you could have your own little logo, and we could go all over there.